Hello everyone, my name is Issei from TCBT Counseling Office. I'm a Japanese clinical psychologist and the director of the TCBT Counseling Office. I share information about obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, from a Japanese cultural perspective. So today I'd like to talk about harm OCD. Harm OCD is one common type of obsessive compulsive disorder. I feel this kind of OCD may appear relatively often among Japanese people. Japanese culture may play a role in this, and it can sometimes make these fears stronger. Of course, harm OCD exists in many countries. However, in my clinical experience in Japan, I often see people whose personality traits and cultural values make this type of OCD more painful. On this channel, I talk about psychology that can help people with OCD. If you find this helpful or interesting, please consider subscribing and liking the video. So what exactly is harm OCD? First, harm OCD does not mean someone is aggressive or violent. In fact, people with the harm OCD usually have a very strong desire not to hurt others. They really care about other people. They do not have urges to hurt someone. Instead, they feel fear, guilt, and shame, such as, what if I harmed someone without realizing it? Because of this, people with harm OCD often believe I am a dangerous person. However, when others look at them, they usually think there's no way this person would hurt anyone. In many cases, harm OCD appears in people who strongly believe I must never harm others, I must never cause trouble to anyone. This connects closely to Japanese culture. In Japan, there is a strong value of not causing trouble to others. From a young age, children are taught things like don't bother others, think about other people's feelings, be considerate of those around you. Because of this, Japanese people are often seen as polite and caring, and many people from other countries appreciate this. So, this culture itself is not bad. However, the way people judge whether someone is good can be different. In many Western countries, especially Christian cultures, people often focus on the person's intention, what they meant to do inside their heart. In Japan, people tend to focus more on the effect on others. Did you cause trouble? Did you make someone uncomfortable? So even if someone tries very hard to be kind, if they think they may have bothered someone, fear can suddenly become very strong. In Japanese society, saying I didn't mean to do it does not always lead to forgiveness. Even if there was no bad intention, people may still be criticized strongly. When people see this kind of criticism on social media, on news, they may start to feel one mistake can ruin my entire life. There's no second chance. This fear can become deeply internalized. Although in reality, many people recover and return to society after mistakes. Anxiety can make it feel as if the criticism will last forever. This kind of fear is something we often talk about in therapy. Many people with harm OCD are very sincere and have a strong sense of right and wrong. They struggle because they have a conscientious. People who truly do not care about hurting others usually do not suffer like this. This is why they do not develop harm OCD. Because people with harm OCD strongly believe, I must not hurt anyone, they become overwhelmed by the thought, what if I really hurt someone without knowing? This is the core of the harm OCD. When anxiety becomes stronger, it becomes harder to tell the difference between imagination and reality. So if a thought like, maybe I hurt someone appears, the mind quickly connects to it. Then maybe I really did it, or maybe I could do it. This is one of the main psychological mechanisms behind the harm OCD. In psychology, this way of thinking is called thought-action fusion. It means believing that having a thought is almost the same as actually doing something. This tendency becomes much stronger when a person feels very anxious. In Japan, there is still strong social pressure to exclude behavior that is seen as immoral. For example, if someone shouts insult in public, breaks things, or uses violence, these actions are often spread quickly in social media. People may say things like, that's unacceptable, or go away from Japan. Of course, intentional damage or illegal actions are clearly wrong. However, for people with harm OCD, the fear does not stop at the serious crimes. For example, they might worry about accidentally bumping into someone while passing by. Even if nothing seemed to be happening at the time, they may later imagine that the other person became upset or fell down or was seriously injured. Their imagination keeps moving further and further ahead. As a result, They may think it seemed fine at that moment, but what if it later becomes a serious problem? What if it turned into something unforgivable or deeply immoral? Because these things are very frightening, some people repeatedly check to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. This checking behavior is very common in Harmony City. Japan is sometimes described as a country that values reflection. People are encouraged to think deeply about their actions, their intentions, and to feel sorry when they may have caused troubles. Showing humility and regret is often seen as a good quality. In this cultural context, when anxiety from OCD becomes strong, behavior meant to avoid blame or criticism can become excessive. In this cultural context, when anxiety from OCD becomes strong, behaviors meant to avoid blames or criticism can become excessive. People may do too much to make sure they are not criticized or rejected. In that sense, Harmony may appear more common among Japanese people. Strong values such as do not cause trouble, a heavy sense of responsibility, one mistakes can never be forgiven, may all play a role. In reality, everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes mistakes are hidden and sometimes people are forgiven. However, people who have grown up trying very hard to do the right things may have fewer experience of making mistakes and being forgiven. Many people with Harmony are very honest and kind. They have a strong conscience. That is why they struggle. If someone did not care about hurting others, they would not suffer in this way. Even though people with Harmony often think, maybe I'm a terrible person. From outside perspective, this is usually not true at all. In Japan, reflecting deeply on one's mistakes is often praised. But when reflection never ends, self-blame never stops as well. Then OCD symptoms can become very stronger. So if you're someone close to you struggle with Harmony, it may help to see that Japanese cultural values and OCD anxiety can overlap and make things feel even harder. Sometimes mistakes are forgiven, but if someone strongly believes if I never make a mistake, I will never be blamed, shamed, or rejected, this belief itself can create more suffering. By widening one's perspective and learning how other people actually handle mistakes and responsibility, OCD symptoms may gradually become weaker. I hope this explanation is helpful. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. And if there's a topics you would like me to talk about, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.